Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host Chris Romeo. And today I'll be doing my 2023 NBA playoff predictions as the regular season for the NBA just ended today. And I'll be doing that starting off with the play-in tournament and the playoff predictions. And I forgot to mention my last video when I broke down the end of the Nuggets season. The Nuggets played their best basketball in January and February, and I'll talk about this more later. They played their best basketball in January and February. Their offense was the best in the league. Their defense was starting to improve. If the Nuggets can get back to how they were playing in January and February, they could beat anybody in the playoffs. I think they could beat the Bucks. They've already beat them once. They can beat the Celtics. They already beat them once. And yeah, they could be a very scary team. I could definitely see them going to the finals, maybe even winning it if they get back to that they were playing in January and February. March wasn't really a great month for them. They were pretty up and down. They're only like 500, but every team has to go through a slump at some point in the season. But that being said, I'm rocking my Jamal Murray jersey. It's nice to have him back for the playoffs this year. Stay healthy, and yeah, let's get. So, start off with the play-in. The Timberwolves will take on the Lakers for the 8-7 game to get the 7 seed. So Lakers have been on a tear lately. They're getting hot at the right time. LeBron's playing well. Anthony Davis is actually staying healthy for once. And they're a scary team. The Timberwolves, I expected a better year out of them. Rudy Gobert, adding Rudy Gobert, I thought they would be a scarier team, but they're not. I mean, both of these teams' seasons could have gone downhill very fast, but they didn't. They have a right to try to get in the playoffs. However, the Lakers are at home here, and they have LeBron playing. Playoff LeBron is different, so that's why I'm taking the Lakers. And I hope the Lakers win this game because that means they would not have to play the Nuggets if they win. So that's why. I have the Lakers winning that one, and they will take on the Memphis Grizzlies in round 1 as they punch their ticket to the playoffs. Then that means the Timberwolves would play in this game to try to get in the 8th seed. And the winner of the Thunder and Pelicans will take on the Timberwolves. And in this game, the Thunder have had a pretty good year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey. They have a good young team. They're taking on the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are a better team with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and if Zion plays, which he's not going to play in the play-in tournament. Zion is never healthy, Zion Williamson. So I'm taking the Pelicans at home here, and they'll take on the Timberwolves to try to get the 8th seed. Then Pelicans at Timberwolves to get the number 8 seed. This is actually a rematch from today because these two teams faced off each other today in Minnesota. Timberwolves won, came back. They were down by like 10 in the fourth quarter. Came back and won. Pelicans get a chance of revenge. This is a really tough game to predict. Timberwolves have home court here, but CJ McCollum, he's too good. And I just think the Pelicans are a better team, so that's why I'm taking the Pelicans on the road here. As they will take the number 8 seed, and they will go up against your Denver Nuggets in the first round. Before we get to that, we're going on the east side of the plan. Hawks take on the Heat for the number 7 seed. The Heat have had a little bit of a disappointing regular season, but they just missed out on the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Hawks, they are doing about just as I expect. And in this matchup, this could go either way, I think, but I think the Heat are a better team with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, who can guard Trae Young a little bit. So I'm taking the Heat at home here, and they will get the number 7 seed. They will take on the Boston Celtics in round 1. And that would mean the Hawks would try to play for the 8th seed, as they will take on the winner of the Bulls and Raptors. The Bulls, they got off to a slow start. I expected a better year out of them too, but you got to think Lonzo Ball didn't play all year for them. And they're a decent team, I think. The Raptors, they did about just what I expect with Fred VanVleet being pretty much their only scoring superstar. And Pascal Siakam's okay, but I'm taking the Raptors at home here. I think they are a little better. If the Bulls had Lonzo Ball, I'd maybe take the Bulls here, but not in this matchup. And that means the Raptors would take on the Hawks to try to get the 8 seed. And Trae Young's at home. He's going to go off, I think. This is a big game. And Fred VanVleet, it's going to be between Fred VanVleet and Trae Young, but I'm taking Trae Young on the Hawks here, as they will get the number 8 seed, as they will take on the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. All right, round 1 in the Western Conference. It's the number 8 seed New Orleans Pelicans taking on your number 1 seed, your Denver Nuggets. So in the season series, these two teams split each other. In the last game, the Nuggets didn't even have a Jokic playing. But the Pelicans, they could put up a fight here. CJ McCollum will go off, and they'll win a game or two. But I think the Denver Nuggets are a much better team. They've been a much better team in the regular season. That's why I'm taking the Nuggets in this one. I'll take the Nuggets in 5 here. I think Pelicans will win a home game, but I think Nuggets will win hopefully each and every home game, as they will go on to the West semis. In round 1, we've got the LA Lakers taking the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a pretty interesting series with playoff LeBron, going up against Ja Morant, who should be suspended longer. The Grizzlies, I think, are all-around better team, but you can't ever count out LeBron and Anthony Davis if he stays healthy. Those two guys can guard Ja Morant and Jared Jackson. I think this series will go to 7 games, but I'm going to take the Grizzlies to edge the Lakers in this series in 7 games, as Memphis will go on to the second round. Then the Warriors will take on the Kings in Sacramento. The Kings getting in the playoffs for the first time since 2006. The Warriors, no surprise, made it to the playoffs. They're a lower seed than they usually are. But the Warriors, so here's the thing. The Kings have been a better team all season. They've been better in the regular season. De'Aaron Fox has played out of his mind. But the Warriors are still a great team, even though they had an up-and-down regular season, didn't really try hard. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson is still so tough to beat in the playoffs. The Warriors are also more experienced here and have had more playoff experience, while the Kings have no playoff experience. That being said, I'm taking the Warriors to win this series in 6 games. And, the Kings, they'll definitely put up a good fight, but I think the Warriors are a better team, and I think they'll win, as they'll take on the Memphis Grizzlies in round 2. Before we get to that, the Clippers will take on the Suns. So this is actually a rematch from today, even though none of the starters from the Suns played. But Kawhi and PG going up against Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker. This is going to be a great series. And I think Bones Highland's going to pop off and have a big series in this one. I think this series goes to 7 games. This series could definitely go either way. I could definitely see the Clippers winning, but I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns to edge the Clippers in this series in 7 games with Kevin Durant, as they will move on, and the Suns will take on your Denver Nuggets in round 2. And if the I'll say later. In round 1 in the Eastern Conference, got the Hawks taking on the Bucks. The Hawks could win a game or 2 with Trae Young going off, but I think the Bucks are a much better team. They're better defensively, and Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday can lock down Trae Young. So I'm taking the Bucks in 5 here, as they will move on to the second round. The Heat take on the Celtics in round one. The Heat are a good matchup for the Celtics. They almost beat them in 7 games last year to win to a 7-game series. I think this is going to be another great series. The Celtics have been by far a better team in the regular season. I think the Heat are definitely going to... I could even see the Heat pulling off an upset in this series. I don't think that'll quite happen. I think this series will go to 7 games like it did last year. But I have the Celtics winning. They have home court. But it'll be a great series. As the Celtics will move on to round 2. The Nets take on the 76ers. Joel Embiid is having a great year. The front runner to win MVP right now. He won the scoring title. And the Nets, the Nets have hung in there well with Mikal Bridges, and the fact they even got a playoff spot after losing Kevin Durant, you got to give them a tip of the hat to that. But the 76ers are an all-around better team. I don't know if Ben Simmons will play for the Nets, but it'd be interesting to do. But I have the 76ers winning this series in 5 games just because they have a lot more firepower than the Brooklyn Nets, as the 76ers will take on the Celtics in round 2. Final round 1 matchup, the Knicks at the Cavaliers. The Knicks have had a great season. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, even Emmanuel Quickly, who's been a good scorer. The Knicks swept the Nuggets, and they beat the Celtics 3 times this year, twice at the Celtics Stadium, Madison Square Garden. The Cavaliers, I just think they're a better team. They got Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, you name it. They are a very scary, good young team. The Cavaliers could potentially go to the NBA Finals, in my opinion. Probably not this year because they're still young. But that being said, this is going to be a good series, I think. But I have the Cavs winning this series 4-2, if I can write. I have the Cavs winning this series 4-2 in 6 games, as the Cavaliers will take on the Bucks in round 2. Before we get to that, it'll be the Phoenix Suns taking on your Denver Nuggets in round 2. If the Nuggets make it out of the first round, which I really hope they do, as long as they don't have to play the Lakers, I will be going to a Nuggets playoff game in Denver. And that means I would be going to a Suns Nuggets game in Denver, probably game 2 in the West semis. This is going to be a great series. It's going to be a high scoring. Each game is going to be so high scoring. Neither teams have the best defense, but Kevin Durant's going to go off. Jokic is going to go off. Jamal Murray, Devin Booker. It's going to be back and forth, high scoring. I think the Nuggets have a little bit deeper of a team than the Suns. The Suns have a deep team. They have Torrey Craig and Sargic on their bench, but I think the Nuggets are a tad bit deeper since they added Thomas Bryant. Christian Brown's been playing well for them. Bruce Brown. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can play defense. That's what the Nuggets need. And now that the Nuggets are healthy with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., I have the Nuggets winning this series in 6 games, 4-2. As the Denver Nuggets, your Denver Nuggets will return to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since the bubble in 2020. As the Nuggets will get their revenge against the Phoenix Suns. Next up, we got the Warriors taking on the Grizzlies, rematch of the West semis from last year. So the Grizzlies, I think this is going to be a great series. I think the Warriors are definitely more playoff experienced. Grizzlies are younger. They're long, athletic. They have guys that could... Well, not many people can guard Steph Curry. But, yeah, I could definitely see the Grizzlies winning this series. I think this series is going to go to 7 games, but I have Golden State pulling it out again against Memphis. This is going to be a great game. And the Grizzlies are even a good team without Ja Morant, but the Warriors in the playoffs are just too tough to beat. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and I have the Warriors heading to the Western Conference Finals. They will rematch from last year to take on your Denver Nuggets. Before we get to that, the the Cavaliers taking on the Bucks. Everyone's gonna say the Bucks are gonna win this series, which I think the Bucks are gonna win it too. Spoiler alert! But the Cavaliers are sneaky good. Like, they had a great regular season. They have the pieces to possibly upset the Bucks or the Celtics. I think the Cavaliers do. I think it's gonna be a good series. Giannis is gonna have a big series. So is Donovan Mitchell. But I have the Bucks winning this series in 6 games with Giannis, and the Bucks will head back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And as the Bucks will take on the winner of the East semis, the 76ers and the Celtics. The 76ers could give the Celtics trouble, but James Harden's just not that good in the playoffs. And Joel Embiid is going to have to carry them a lot. So that's why the Celtics winning this series in 6 games. The Celtics also have guys that can lock up Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. So I have the Celtics heading the Eastern Conference Finals. And I've been predicting it since the beginning of the year that the Celtics would take on the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and there you got it. Before we get to that though, we got the Warriors taking on the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. By the way, I predicted the Warriors to take on the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals going into this season. I did not expect them, even if the Nuggets were the 1 seed or not, I did not expect the Nuggets to be a 1 seed. They will have home court advantage in this one. So, the Nuggets swept the Warriors in the season series. They won one of those games without Jokic. And last year in the playoffs, Game 1 and Game 2 against the Warriors were blowouts, but Game 3 and Game 4, Nuggets won one of them. 2 of the 3 losses, the last 2 wins the Warriors got in the round from last year were all close down to the wire, and Nuggets just couldn't score at the end because it was just Jokic, and he didn't have any help around him. This time the Nuggets are healthy. They got Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. I think it's going to be a great series going to 7 games. Could definitely see the Warriors win this one, but I think the Denver Nuggets and Jokic and Jamal Murray are going to edge out the Warriors in 7 games as they will go to their first ever NBA Finals. The Nuggets will head to their first ever NBA championship, edging out the Warriors. It'll be a great series as they will wait on the winner of the Celtics and Bucks. The Celtics and Bucks, this is a rematch from last year. Celtics won in 7 games. I think the Celtics have what it takes to play defense on Giannis and make him uncomfortable with Al Horford. And I think this would be a great game. I think this series will also go to 7 games, but you saw that earlier this year, about 2 weeks ago, when the Celtics clamped down on Giannis. They ended up winning that game by 40. And I don't think they're going to win this game by 40, but I do think the Celtics will edge out the Bucks in 7 games as they will head back to the NBA Finals for the 2nd year in a row to take on your Denver Nuggets. And finally, in the 2023 NBA, you'll have the Denver Nuggets, who have never won a championship before, going to the NBA Finals with Jokic, Jamal Murray, and a young team, as they will take on the 17-time NBA champions, the Boston Celtics. It's going to be a great series. I don't know who would have home court advantage in this matchup. The Nuggets have the 1 seed, but the Boston Celtics have a better record in the regular season. It's going to be the Nuggets, who have improved on defense all year with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Aaron Gordon, match up against a really good Celtics defense. The Celtics, they come out of a weaker Eastern Conference. Nuggets will have more competition. That means Jokic will be able to get better as the playoffs go on. So this is going to shock people. And I think the Celtics will win the first 2 games of this series. They'll both win at home. Nuggets will win the next 2 games of the series. Tie the game at 2-2. Tie the series at 2-2. In Boston, Nuggets will squeak out a win on the road to go up 3-2. It'll be their first win in Boston since like '08. And then the Nuggets will win at home, and that'll be over. So that's why I have your Denver Nuggets beating the Boston Celtics in the NBA championship, 4-2. Hate me all you want for taking the Nuggets over the Celtics, but I think they have the pieces. And your predicted champion will be the Denver Nuggets, I think, for this 2023 NBA playoff season. I think the Nuggets and Jokic will get Finals MVP to bring home their first ever NBA championship to the Mile High City. And yeah, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., I just feel like this is the year the Nuggets can get it done. I might be biased by it. I could definitely see the Celtics winning this series too in 5 games if they wanted. But your Denver Nuggets winning the championship over the Celtics this summer. But yeah, let me know who you guys think are going to go in the playoffs and win the championship this year. Like, subscribe, comment. Yeah, if the Nuggets make it to the second round, I'm going to be going to a game in Denver to watch the Nuggets playoff game. But like, subscribe, comment. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good Denver. Hopefully, bracket is true, and hope bring home a ring. But I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good Denver. Go Nuggets, go Avalanche.